In this two-part series of Science for a Self-Reliant India, which focuses on science and technology and how it is translated on the ground level, we travel extensively to the picturesque Himalayan state of Sikkim with the Border Roads Organization, part of the Ministry of Defence and the Indian Army. India's northeast state of Sikkim is blessed with rich biodiversity, from breathtaking alpine landscapes to subtropical climates, and also the world's third highest mountain peak, Khangchendzonga. But each climate and topographical feature in turn poses significant challenges to the engineers of the BRO, who have to ensure that roads and bridges in this strategic state, which borders the Tibet Autonomous Region, are accessible throughout the year to our troops stationed at some of the highest and frigid altitudes in the world. Welcome to our show, Science for a Self-Reliant India. In this series, we take a special look at Sikkim with the Border Roads Organization, which is India's premier organization working in some of the most difficult and fragile mountain areas, and of course in deserts and other places as well. In this episode, we look at how science and technology is being leveraged and how in Sikkim the Border Roads Organization under Project Swastik is upgrading roads and bridges in some of the most difficult mountain areas of the country. So let's continue on our journey of Sikkim with the BRO. In this episode, we take an up-and-close look at how India's forces are working to build and upgrade roads and bridges in Sikkim under Project Swastik of the Border Roads Organization, from innovative technologies to upgrade size and load capacities of bridges, how new materials and construction techniques are being applied to stabilize sinking zones in the mountains. We also travel to Munshithang in North Sikkim, where the BRO has built a 360 feet Bailey suspension bridge over the Tista River in a record time of 4 months after the original 180-foot bridge was washed away after a cloudburst and the resultant flash flood. The importance of improving infrastructure in the northeast of India, especially in the border states, cannot be overstated, as it not only leads to economic opportunities for the local population, but also our country's military preparedness and strength. This and much more on Science for a Self-Reliant India, only on India Science.
In this state, the importance of bridges gets highlighted very much. BRO is maintaining approximately 72 bridges and constructing further more bridges in state of Sikkim. And there is a necessity, because of the weather and the terrain, to provide faster bridges in this state. So mainly BRO relies on the equipment bridges, that is Bailey bridges, extra wide Bailey bridges and Bailey suspension bridges. Of late, BRO is also started making permanent bridges from RCC or pre-stressed concrete, and gradually we are also going to the cantilever type bridges with open and well foundation.
The monsoons that lash Sikkim, like the rest of northeast India, are characterized by heavy and incessant rainfall, causing widespread damage to the mountain road networks and bridges. The intensity of the rain and sometimes even cloudbursts or flash floods damage or completely wash away massive bridges. North Sikkim district, like most of the Himalayan mountain chain, is prone to heavy and incessant rainfall. But sometimes the devastation is even more extreme when cloudbursts occur. In June 2019, the upper Munshithang region was struck by cloudburst. The volume and intensity of the cascading water that flowed down the mighty Tista River destroyed everything in its path, including a massive 180 feet steel bridge, and severed road connectivity to the forward border areas.
So apart from the picturesque valleys of the North Sikkim and the flora and fauna, the North Sikkim is also popular for its cloud bursts and the landslides and the sinking zones. So to keep this national highway open is a major challenge for us, especially during the monsoon season. So every year we have to pre-position our equipment here to keep the roads open. For that we have our standard operating procedures in place, we have our monsoon action plan in place, and we work accordingly.
The India Meteorological Department defines a cloudburst as any event where 100 millimeters of rainfall have fallen in a span of an hour over a region that is 20 to 30 square kilometers in an area. A cloudburst occurs when moisture-carrying air moves up a mountain terrain, forming a vertical column of clouds known as cumulonimbus clouds. Such clouds usually cause rain, thunder and lightning. This upward motion of the clouds is known as orographic lift. In these storms, there are violent uprushes of air, which at times prevent the condensing raindrops from falling to the ground. A large amount of water may thus accumulate at high levels, and if the upward currents are weakened, the entire water falls at one time. These unstable clouds cause an intense rainstorm over a small area after becoming heavy enough and locked in the ridges and valleys between the hills. One of the most devastating cloudbursts took place in Kedarnath, Uttarakhand in 2013 that killed more than 5,000 people in the region and caused widespread damage across the river valley. As a result, the traffic movement gets disrupted for several days and sometimes even months. Construction and maintenance of conventional bridges in such difficult, undulating and steep terrains is a mammoth and time-consuming task, as it requires transporting heavy machinery, raw materials and trained personnel to the sites. To tackle such challenges and the important mission to keep the road networks open 24 hours during such periods poses a tremendous challenge for the officers of the BRO and the state administration. As these roads and bridges are vital to maintain lines of supply and communication open with the forward areas, the Border Roads Organization works on both traditional and innovative solutions to construct bridges at record speed when they are damaged or destroyed. The types of bridges that the BRO deploys on emergency basis include Bailey bridges, suspension bridges, and large modular bridges to meet the immediate requirements of the armed forces and civilians living in the remote areas. A Bailey bridge is a type of portable, prefabricated truss bridge, a temporary bridge of lattice steel designed for rapid assembly from standard parts, used specially in military operations or in remote and inaccessible areas. Due to the simplicity of the fabrication and assembly of its modular components, combined with the ability to erect and deploy sections with a minimum of assistance from heavy equipment, Bailey bridges are still used most extensively around the world. It is a simple, through-type bridge with a roadway carried between two main load-carrying lattice girders or trusses. The lattice girders are built up from a number of identical panels connected end-to-end by pins to form a continuous stiff girder from bank to bank. Road bearers called transoms are laid across the bottom chords of the truss panels, connecting and spacing the main girders apart and at the same time carrying stringers to support the decking. Introduced in 1940 by English engineer Sir Donald Bailey, the concept behind the Bailey Bridge was to provide a temporary bridge that could rapidly and manually be erected in wartime conditions and that could sustain the load of heavy tanks and other machinery. Constructed of lightweight and standardized prefabricated steel components that could easily be transported and put together using simple tools and a few army engineers. For instance, one girder panel, which is 10 feet long and 4 feet 9 inches in height, weighs about 300 kilograms. This can easily be carried and assembled by 6 men. The Bailey Bridge is said to have served as a pivotal tool in the Second World War. The Bailey Bridge was amongst the earliest forms of modular bridge construction and served as an innovative solution to meet the challenging wartime demand for temporary bridges. What made the idea so successful was its ability to be used in remote locations and to be assembled in conditions in which hauling equipment was limited or unavailable. Even today, the same concept is utilized to provide access in rural areas or even as temporary support for structures under construction. The basic bridge consists of three main parts: prefabricated panels, transoms, and stringers. The bridge's strength is provided by the panels on the sides. The panels are approximately 10 feet long, 5 feet high, cross-braced rectangles that each weigh around 300 kilograms and can be lifted by 6 men. The panel is constructed of steel alloys. The top and bottom chords of each panel has interlocking lugs which can be connected with pins. The floor of the bridge consists of a number of transoms that run across the bridge, with stringers running between them on the bottom, forming a square. The transoms rest on the lower chord of the panels and clamps hold them together. Stringers are placed atop the completed structural frame, and wood planking is placed atop the stringers to provide a road bed. Later, wooden planking is covered with steel plates which are less resistant to damage of tank tracks or heavy vehicles. Each unit constructed in this fashion creates a single 10-foot long section of the bridge with a 12-foot wide road bed. After one section is completed, it is typically pushed forward over rollers on the bridgehead and another section built behind it. The two are then connected together with pins pounded into holes in the corner of the panels. With 3 panels across and 2 high, the Bailey Bridge can support tanks over a 200-foot span. Footways can be installed on the outside of the side panels. The side panels form an effective barrier between foot and vehicular traffic, allowing pedestrians to safely use the bridge.
So Bailey Bridge is an engineering marvel. Any span, almost up to 200 feet, we can launch a bridge which can take any load up till 70 tons. Like for example, this Bailey Bridge is a triple double. When I say triple double, I mean there is a bay below and there is a bay above. That's double. And triple is that there are 3 panels in each bay. So in all, in this entire bay, there will be around 12 panels, which is supported by 4 transoms below, which distribute the weight to the panels. So this bridge was launched in a week's time, and the traffic is already through. As you can see, we are ready for traffic. That's why this bridge is special, because it can be launched in a very, very short time, and it can hold a weight of a very large degree, that is up to 70 tons.
In strategically important areas like Sikkim, where conventional bridges remain at risk because of the varying climatic and geological conditions, Bailey bridges have proved to be the perfect solution for reliable access. Over the years, Army engineers and the BRO have made a number of innovations and worked on increasing the capacity of Bailey bridges, with new ones which can be used by vehicles up to 70 tons. These are called Class 70 bridges and are therefore able to bear the weight of 70-ton vehicles, making the 60-ton Arjun tank or the T-70 Bhishma tank crossover easily.
So, considering the present prevailing security situations in this area and the requirements of the army, we have been entrusted with the job of upgrading all the bridges in this AOR. And we have to do it in a very, very short span of time. So Bailey bridges are the most viable answer to that problem, that how quickly we can accommodate the maximum number of bridges, and they can be upgraded to an extra wide width, and at the same time a load classification of 70R. So that's why we are upgrading all the bridges, and that's why we are selecting Bailey bridges, because they can be easily launched and also they're quickly launched.
In June 2019, a massive cloudburst in the upper valley destroyed the steel bridge, which spanned 180 feet in Munshithang, North Sikkim district, severing this crucial road link.
So what happened was that after the earlier bridge washed away, the clear span between the two banks, it increased from 180 to more than 300 feet. Now, when the span is more than 200 feet, you cannot have normal Bailey bridges. So that's why we had to go for extra wide this Bailey suspension bridge, and this has the load classification of 40 tons. When you don't reuse the reinforcement, then it is 24 tons. Now that we have used the reinforcements also, so the load capacity increases to 40 tons. The whole construction of the bridge, right from the start of the concreting works till the end, it took around 4 months. So I think that was a team effort by everyone, and it really paid off well.
The intensity of the water also increased the span between the two banks, as well as the level difference as the hillsides were washed away. So I'm on the Munshi Thang Bridge over the river Teesta. This is about 100 kilometers from Gangtok. Now, why is this bridge special? It's a Bailey bridge. It's the longest in Sikkim, 360 feet. And this was built in 4 months after flash floods destroyed the previous Bailey bridge, which is lying right under this bridge. And this is where the expertise of the engineers of the Border Roads organization comes. And as I said, it was built in record time. And let's understand what a Bailey bridge is and why it is so crucial in the mountain areas of India and around the world actually. A Bailey suspension bridge features a cable support system that distributes the weight of the bridge deck between the two towers. The tension forces in the cables are converted to compression forces in the piers, which then extend all the way to the ground. The equal pressure on each side creates a remarkable balance as the bridge decks pull inwards. The main support cables are positioned from the tower to the anchorages, which tend to be either of concrete block or solid rock. The job of the anchorages is to pull the towers outward with the same force as the bridge deck is pulling them together. Suspension bridges are less expensive when compared to traditional concrete bridges and are a practical solution for construction of a bridge of longer spans. With just 3 basic requirements such as cables, prefabricated panels and anchorages, these bridges require minimal maintenance and are best suited for mountainous and earthquake-prone areas. And as Sikkim lies in seismic zone 5, these bridges have also proven to be more resilient during tremors and earthquakes. The BRO commenced construction of the 360 feet long Bailey suspension bridge in October 2019 and completed it in January 2020. The BRO accomplished this mission in a record time of 3 months. The infrastructure development project also included laying approach roads to the bridge, which were open for traffic on 21st March 2020. A major challenge that confronts the BRO in these mountain terrains of Sikkim is the difficulty in not only constructing roads but maintaining them throughout the year. The task becomes even more difficult when large stretches of the road and mountainsides start sinking and losing their level stability. The sinking issue is common in fragile geological regions like the Himalayan mountain chain. These are the result of rainwater infiltration, temperature variation, seismic movements of the earth, and even human activities. The intense rains in Sikkim result in large surface runoff, which also percolates through the fissured and fragmented slopes, which aggravate the process of soil erosion, often resulting in the fall of the ground level. Entire hills, homes and roads sink or subside to a lower level as the soil below it gives way, causing extensive damage.
We are standing at a place which was earlier a sinking zone. Sinking zone is a place where in the upstream and the downstream the level is same and the center portion gets sink due to not providing the proper drainage.
In many areas of the Himalayas, boulders and rocks which are embedded and intermixed in loose sand deposits after coming in contact with water create pore pressure. And when it gets released, it causes seepage in the soil strata. This seepage action results in the removal of sediments from the strata, which gives rise to creep condition or soil creep, which is the wasting of soil on a slope under the influence of gravity. This is one such location where the entire hillside has been subsiding along with huge boulders and rocks. To see the extent and challenge of ground sinking and how the BRO is working to find more sustainable options to stabilize the slopes, we travel to the village of Ralabrangtu in North Sikkim. This entire road stretch has been sinking along with the areas on this very vegetated slope. It's particularly dangerous because there are many homes on this mountainside.
आज से 10-15 साल पहले
10-15 years ago, this area was hit by a massive landslide, and after that, this area was declared a sliding zone. Recurring landslide have damaged many houses in the village. As you can see the cracks on the wall. Now, BRO is using this new technology to overcome this issue, and we hope this technology will solve our problem.
अब हम उम्मीद करते हैं ये टेक्नोलॉजी के हिसाब से अब ये हमारा समस्या का समाधान हो सकता है.
To find a permanent solution to this recurring problem of sinking and to stabilize the road and the slope, the BRO has adopted a fairly new technology of making a composite wall-like structure with the use of geocells. Geocells are 3D honeycomb-like structures made from high-density polyethylene. These cage-like structures are filled with granular materials, essentially locally available soil or sand, which in turn results in restricting the movement of soil. This stabilizes it. The gaps in the cells allow nutrients, water and soil organisms to move without any hindrance. Multi-layered geocells are an ideal solution for retaining walls in the sinking zones while fulfilling all structural design requirements. The principle of design is similar to conventional gravity walls. In this technology, the wall-facing section are integrated with geosynthetic earth reinforcement layers. Multiple layers of geocells filled with granular materials are stacked on top of each other. The perforations in the geocells ensure that hydrostatic pressures or the pressures exerted by water behind the wall is dissipated. This solution uses the most common elements including geotextiles, geogrids, anchors, etc. and water drainage, where the drains are used to reduce water entry and to control the groundwater level in order to increase the structural stability. So along with keeping the soil intact and stable, geocells also help in improving the tensile strength of surface materials, and as a result, less rutting or depressions occur on the road surface.
In hills, at some places, due to the improper drainage system, the area gets sinked. And at these places, if we make normal concrete walls, then if the drainage is not proper, the structure might get fail and the area might get sink again. So at these places, we use geosynthetics. In this execution of work, I have used geotextile, geoweb and geogrid. And by the combination of this, we make a geosynthetic structure, which is a composite structure. You can see my men working. Here we have provided geoweb, and we get, when we fill it, it becomes a composite structure. And by filling it, we have raised the level by 3 meters. The sinking has been neutralized.
The exemplary work of the Border Roads Organization in Sikkim and its core unit, the General Reserve Engineer Force, are also deeply appreciated by the state government in not only providing better infrastructure but also for creating job opportunities.
नया टेक्नोलॉजी में इनका बहुत एडवांस है क्योंकि ब्रिज वगैरह बनाने में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर
Border Road Organization is using advanced technologies here in Sikkim for the construction of roads and bridges.
बनाना पड़ता है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो ब्रिज
With the use of high-end equipments, they are developing the road infrastructure and their smooth conduct of construction is commendable.
कि कब बना दिया ऐसा लगता
This area was known for cardamom farming a decade ago, but now for some reason that is not happening. And we also don't have industries here, so people here don't have enough opportunities for jobs. Border Road Organization is helping local people by providing them with jobs by engaging them in construction work and other jobs as well. So all the people here are happy with BRO's efforts.
करके रखा है इसलिए भी बहुत अच्छा से हम लोग को स्मूथ है और बहुत हम लोग यहाँ का जनता बहुत खुश है.
The Border Roads Organization and its engineers are reinventing the construction of roads and bridges in fragile ecosystems like Sikkim by introducing new materials, technologies and techniques. The BRO has achieved considerable success in enhancing the infrastructure of our border areas, thus making our country more resilient and providing our armed forces with added capacities to confront any threat that may arise. After all, a prerequisite for an Atmanirbhar Bharat is the security and stability of the realm.